known as Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes Monet, is in AEW. She made her debut on Wednesday night, and it was big business. So we're gonna get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Thank God for Wrestling podcast. I'm host one of two, Johnny King.
Host two of two, CJ McClure.
And today, guys, formerly known as Sasha Banks, now known as Mercedes Monet, the CEO is in AEW. CJ, what are your thoughts?
It was a cool moment. I watched the full segment online. I dig the CEO part of her theme song. I think the CEO chant goes pretty hard. I love it when theme songs kind of almost become like concerts or like just create like really simple chants in the wrestling industry. I thought it was a really cool segment. She debuted in her hometown. I really do hope that she doesn't get hit with the injury bug. She obviously has a history of injuries. I really hope she's able to make the most of her time in AEW. And yeah, I thought it was a good segment. The boss is now the CEO.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy that she's not using any of the boss stuff, like, which I guess WWE probably has trademarked. But I don't know, man. It was cool to see. It was cool to see, but it just didn't feel like it was. It didn't give me long term vibes. It just felt like this is gonna hold me over until I finally make the jump back to WWE, which I understand, which is cool. I feel like she'll be able to have good matches in AEW. There's a lot of AEW has one of the best women's divisions in the world. It just depends on whether or not Tony Khan can book them right. I just hope Mercedes doesn't get lost in the shuffle of the women's division like all the women have been like in the past couple months, years, if even.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, there's a lot of ex-WWE just wrestlers in general, guys and girls. I feel like that have got lost in the shuffle. I mean, we haven't seen anything from Myro. I don't feel like we've seen anything from Claudio in a while. So I mean, yeah, I hope Mercedes doesn't get lost in the shuffle, like you said. Again, I'm an AEW casual, but I think someone I would love to see her face against is Timeless Tony Storm. I think that'd be a pretty interesting match and feud. And I guess on the topic of WWE, I guess question for you, what are your thoughts that before she made her debut, that she publicly said on a podcast that she will go back to WWE in the future before she made her AEW debut?
Yeah, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Wrestling is a business. Mercedes obviously is a businesswoman. She saw the numbers Tony Khan threw at her, and she said, "I'm gonna take it." Whether it was a 3-year, 4-year deal, she's still young. In 4 years, she'll be what, like maybe mid to late 30s at this point. So, I mean, I would go where the money is at the point in time. You know what I'm saying? Tony Khan, his pockets are endless. So I can't say she didn't make a good decision. She made a decision that was best for herself and for her family. So I do believe that we'll see her back in WWE in the coming years, but we'll just have to wait and see when that time ends.
I'll definitely be back in WWE for sure. And I respect the fact that on the podcast that she was on, that she said, I mean, she got emotional talking about the opportunities that WWE gave her. And I mean, she gave them a lot of credit. And I think that just goes to show her maturity and a little bit of her loyalty, despite the fact that she did walk out on WWE because of the creative differences of the tag team division at the time. But I mean, not, I guess not to completely compare apples and oranges, because I mean, Sasha kind of had a better first run in WWE than Cody Rhodes did, but you still look at like Cody leaving WWE and then starting AEW and all the other promotions that he was in to reinvent himself. I mean, who's to say that? I mean, this isn't just a part of Sasha like just making herself bigger than she already was in comparison to when she was in WWE. I just asked that question because I think some AEW talent got a little upset that she made that comment, because I think they're getting the vibe like, okay, so you're only here for the money. You're not here for the long term. You're probably just going to do your first contract, get the bag, and go back to WWE, which, like you said, this is a business. Some of my non-wrestling fans that don't understand how any of this works, they're all like, well, they're actors and it's fake, which, yes, they are actors, but they're athletes and you can't do what they can do. It's a business. And there's politics in business. There's politics everywhere.
Mhm.
So I mean, like, I don't blame her. I don't blame her for trying to get the bag. And I mean, I think she can make the most of AEW, like what you said, if she's booked right. But WWE is really what gave her her big break. You know, NXT and WWE both. You know, I mean, that's what made her one of the biggest women wrestlers in the world.
Yeah, I just feel like after the couple big, so we have Tony Storm, which is a big opponent for her, and then everybody wants to see the match between her and Britt Baker because her and Britt
Yeah.
Baker have publicly had some disputes. And then it's like, where do we go from there? I mean, AEW does have a ton of women, but the question is, will they make time for them? Will they make the stories happen? Will they give them the promo time? Like, I don't know if they will. Like, we haven't. Tony Storm's reign has been subtle. We've had a little here and there, but it doesn't feel like we've had like actual great stories. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I hope that they do try to at least build the women's division around Mercedes, and that may help. Since she's a big enough star, that may help them realize that they need to give the women more time on TV, especially like to create stories and craft stories. And Mercedes needs to be one of the biggest faces AEW has ever had, and they need to book her as such. You know.
Definitely. And I would also like to see her face off against Soraya since they were both in WWE at the same time for a brief period.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be an interesting feud. And I mean AEW, I'm not trying to clown on them when I say this, but they are kind of notorious for making callbacks to WWE because AEW gives them or Tony Khan gives them the freedom to do so, you know,
Mm-hmm.
with non-scripted promos. But I think that'd be very interesting. And I think Soraya can still go, in my opinion. She can still put on a good match. So that'd be pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean it's all about timing, it's all about booking, and we've always criticized Tony Khan as a booker. Good businessman, not a good booker, not good at having governance in the company. But I'll say this just kind of regarding AEW in general. When it comes to the WWE AEW competition, WWE has been winning the battle for like almost 2 years now, ever since Triple H has become in charge. But I think AEW is still staying relevant. I mean, I think they're still going to stay relevant to the wrestling industry, low attendance and low ratings or not. I think there was like a month ago, there was one night that Dynamite was actually the number one viewed show on cable or something like that. So I think AEW is here to stay. I think they're going to stay relevant. But I think until MJF gets back, or unless they put together a great storyline and feud with Mercedes, like you said, and make her the top face, I mean, WWE is going to be winning the battle by a long shot.
Yeah, AEW, they're not going anywhere. They're going to be a solid number two for a long time. But like you said, but unless MJF comes back, like what really are we besides Mercedes? What really are we giving our attention to? Like the Undisputed Kingdom storyline has fell flat. No one really gives cares about them. Adam Cole's not wrestling. Like Wardlow just faced Samoa Joe. Like what are we doing here? It just seems like they're just running in circles with that. And other than that, I mean, there's nothing really to give my attention to. I'm gonna be honest, like I hope that this Mercedes deal and the Mercedes return or coming to AW really does help elevate television and really does force them to create better stories revolving around the woman and giving them more time. Yeah.
I will say with them signing Mercedes and signing Okada in like a span of a month, especially after Sting is just retired and now Darby Allin's injured, I do think that gives them some momentum and like they have a chance. You know, they have a
Mm-hmm.
chance with Okada and Mercedes, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to create some storylines and run with it. But it's about if they do it right, you know.
Yeah, I will say Okada's presentation has been great. Tony Khan nailed that. The coin drop into the theme song, it sounds so good. And the fact that he's with I'm still trying to figure out if I like him with Matt and Nick Jackson. I don't know. I just feel like I can take Okada way more serious than I can take the Young Bucks in this role. Um, but yeah, man, we're just gonna have to see what AEW television brings in the future. So Mercedes Monet is in AEW. Any last thoughts, CJ?
Hopefully cook. And I hope she makes the most of it before she comes back in WWE in the next few years.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Comment below what you think about her AEW debut. And this has been another episode of Thank God for Wrestling. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'm Johnny King, and thank God for wrestling.
Thank you guys for your constant support. We greatly appreciate you. I'm CJ McClure. Thank God for wrestling. Peace.
Peace.